Hi there, we're back. The second video. It couldn't fit all in one video because, as usual, I talk too much. In the first video, I was introducing the module to you. I was introducing the first week to you, but I forgot to introduce myself to you. For those who don't know, my name is Erwin Wolthuis. I'm one of the lecturers in business administration. So, well, you will come across me more often, but at least now you know who's talking to you. All right, let's get started with day one. Why? All right, let's go and start the show. So day one, the why. As I just briefly said, and as you all know, probably, because it was also covered in module 3, there was also a lecture on circular economy. We have to make sure we make a living. That's what you chose business administration for. At the same time, we also have to make sure we do it in a way that it's sustainable. That's basically the why. So let's see, let's go back quickly to module 3 and have a look at some of the general economic principles that you looked at. I also, there's a nice pop-up in my screen. Let's see if I can get that out. Yes, I can. Here you see the basic, what an economy is evolving like. We have the households on one hand and we have the business, the firms on the other. So basically, we, the people, are providing the factors of production. At least the production factors are made available to the businesses to make stuff. Those production factors are land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. By providing that, businesses can actually make goods and provide services. So they provide these goods and services back to the consumers. That's one loop. At the same time, because we provide these factors of production, we want something in return. So when land is provided, we'll get rent for it. When we provide labor, we'll receive wages. When we provide capital, we'll get interest. And for entrepreneurs, for taking the risk, there's hopefully profit. So that's money flowing from the businesses to the providers of those production factors. With the money that these households receive, they actually go and buy goods and services. So that's our consumption. So basically that's the whole cycle. That's what we do. Now it looks like a cycle, but the intention is that it's an upward spiral. As you can see here, our paradigm on economics is based on growth. We want things to get better. Why is this year a good year? Because it's better than last year. That's basically our way of looking at things. But then there's a catch to that. It's a bit tricky, because if you want that to grow, that means that everything in there is going to get more, it's going to get higher and higher, it's going to go up. By all those things going up, it's an awkward, there's a strange system in there, because basically these factories are making things, and you could expect that after making things once, we'll have it. You have a chair now? Yes, I have a chair now. Do you want another chair? No, I'm fine. But that's, of course, then a system which would not work. There has to be a moment where everybody in the world has a chair. So what do we do then? Are we still going to make chairs? Are we going to close the chair factory? Probably not. So what we want that chair to be replaced. Otherwise, the people in the chair factory would lose their job. So the idea is that we make stuff, consumers use it, they use it up until it's broken, and then we replace it. That's the only way these factories can keep working. And that's the only way we can guarantee growth. Now, there's a catch to that. So let's have a look at the next slide. We come from here. We come from a period where there was nothing. And then we enter our era of growth. We're growing, growing, growing. However, we're growing. We can't keep growing, because if we keep growing, everything will, run out, because we are living on a planet with finite resources. So there's an end to everything. So the growth has to stop somewhere. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the Mad Max movies. If not, then after looking at all the material that I provide to you, you can basically look that up. And that gives you a pretty good idea what the world would look like if we've used up all our resources. As this gentleman said, Kenneth Boulding, anyone who believes that exponential growth can go on forever in a finite world is either a madman or an economist. Well, that puts me somewhere. Okay, so that's like a fold in the system that we are using right now. So it doesn't really work like that. We've planned that, but it's not really working out. So we need to change things. Or you guys need to change things. Your generation is next. Now, to look a little bit deeper into where the system is so strange, we have to know something about this planned obsolescence. As I basically just said with my example about the chair factory, which was not the best example, but I hope it got the message across. The whole system is based on us replacing things. And this is going so far that there is something called planned obsolescence in many of the products that we are using. Planned obsolescence basically means the product has an expected life, and after that life, it is supposed to break, because otherwise we would never buy a new one. And that's a strange system, because basically we could make products that would go on forever, or we could make products that are modular, so we could just change a small part and use the rest. However, that was not the idea. The idea is that we keep consuming. Well, with us keeping up consumption, we get things like this. There's a lot of waste. This is all electronical waste. It piles up, it's never going to be used again, whereas there are many components in there that we could have used many more times. If you look at all the videos that are made available, well, it's not if, you have to. After you've watched all the videos that are made available, you will get a pretty good idea of what this planned obsolescence actually means. One of the examples which will be explained in a movie is the old-fashioned light bulb. These light bulbs could have lasted for thousands of hours. However, factories agreed, let's make them last about an hour or 1,000 hours each. So at least then we know that people are going to replace them. That's, of course, that's a strange way of looking at things. A similar thing also applies to our printers, the printers we have at home. There's a small chip in there that actually makes sure that after a certain number of prints, it will give you the message, I can no longer print for you, I've broken down now. So all these things are put in there on purpose to break the machine, so we have to buy another one. So that's planned obsolescence in a nutshell. So you will see more of it in the video, which is in the links later on. There's a similar way of planned obsolescence that's actually done in an even more smart way. That's, for example, this one, smartphones. I don't know if you still remember this one. I think it's an iPhone 4, so it's really old. This thing could still have worked properly. However, we make sure, or not we, the producers make sure, we want to buy the newest version year after year after year. Just by adding a few functions, this machine suddenly becomes obsolete, where it's not. It could perfectly do what it was made for. However, we don't consider it up to date anymore, and we want another one. Okay, so this is another way of planned obsolescence. Why would you need an iPhone 12 when the iPhone 11 didn't exist, did it? Well, why would you need a 12 when the iPhone X is perfectly fine? Well, okay. A similar thing we also do with fashion. Clothes are basically there to keep you warm, to keep your body covered. However, we've given it a complete different direction. This is what you have to wear this summer. I don't think there's anything in there for me, but okay. Next summer you would need something else again. So all these items have become obsolete because we're going to replace them with something else. This is how we do it, but it's a strange system. Okay, now let's move forward a little bit. Since 2015, the UN has adopted the Sustainable Development Goals. You've seen them in the previous module 3 as well. 193 countries agreed upon taking these goals as their standard, and they have to be met by 2030. It actually became even more of an agenda for us when the EU adopted all these goals in their 2017 agenda, saying, okay, we're going to adopt these goals and we will make sure we'll carry them out, we'll meet them. So this is actually what business has to adhere to. This is no longer just wishful thinking. This is what is the rules right now. This is what we have to do. Now, in order to look at these goals, in order to meet these goals, we really have to change the way we do things. Okay, as a side step in the innovation that you have to come up with, you have to make a link to any of these goals because you want to establish something. So one of these goals should also become part of your goals. It could be more than one, could be many. And in the way of how you produce things, it's actually worthwhile to look specifically into goal number 12. All right. If we have to meet these goals, things have to change. In order to change things, this is a model that could actually work. What is this? This is The Donut Economy by Kate Raworth. What she explains in her book, and also what you will see in the short videos that come straight after this, is that growth cannot continue, as I said earlier. But if it can't continue, so what do we want? We do want to grow, but we only want to grow up to a certain level. Actually, it works just like with us, humans, right? It's okay if you're young, that you're growing. But if I'm still growing at my age, something is wrong. Because I'm not getting any taller, I'm just getting wider, which is not necessarily the most healthy thing. So growth, yes, until you are mature. After you mature, you should stop growing. So basically her model focuses on that. She is saying that this is the space, the safe and just space for humanity. This is what we want every country to be in. We want them to be in the donut. So not inside the hollow part of the donut, because there's a shortfall. There's at a personal level, there's not enough education, there's no good healthcare, there's not enough food, there's not enough water. So we have to make sure that we are in the donut. Otherwise, there's too little of something. However, on the other side of the donut, we can actually overshoot. If we produce too much, if we consume too much, it creates another problem. It's no longer a personal problem, it now becomes a societal problem, because now the environment is in danger. If we use too much, if we consume too much, we are polluting the ocean, or what are we doing? We are losing biodiversity, we are polluting the air, all these things. All these are externalities that happen by the way we are consuming. Okay, so what we want to be in the donut. So that's basically the why. All right. Now, what you have to do in the rest of this day, because I'm already talking to you 17 minutes and 40 seconds, which is far too long. The last slide of the day, this is the list of things you have to watch. So basically that's your whole task for today. You've listened to me and now you have to watch these videos. The first one, planned obsolescence, the light bulb conspiracy, that's the longest one. It's just over an hour. The other ones are all short videos of 2 to 3 minutes. This is a list of 9, which really takes you through the whole book of the donut economy. So we not even ask you to read the book, we just ask you to watch 9 short videos. So please make sure you actually do that. All right, then you get the other links, which will basically tell you everything else. That's the whole thing. That's what you have to do for today. Not too bad, right? So my advice to you is get yourself a coffee or something, or get another drink. As I said earlier, bring out the popcorn or whatever it is that helps you to not fall asleep, and have a look at these videos. They're kind of entertaining, but that's not the highest purpose they have. They're supposed to be educating. So please focus on this for a couple of hours, and after that, you're good for the day. And then I'm looking forward to see you guys all tomorrow. Take care.